in the lively city of Kakmu lived a lovely couple named Ajoke and Osazi. Ajoke and Osazi shared a strong and beautiful love that was clear for everyone to see. Their bond was so special that it made their neighbors and friends admire them. People often talked about how happy Ajoke and Osazi were together. They always laughed, held hands, and cared for each other. Those around them couldn't help but wish for the same kind of love in their own relationships, hoping to find that same joy with their partners. However, despite the happiness Ajoke and Osazi shared, they considered their happiness incomplete. This was because they had no children. Ajoke and Osazi had been married for 8 years and had been praying and trusting God for a child. Yet, the more they prayed, the more it felt as though God was moving further away from them and was unwilling to listen to their prayers and pleas for a child. Ajoke and Osazi had attempted 3 IVFs, but all had failed. They had also attended many church programs and miracle crusades, yet no results. Ajoke constantly watched every Christian miracle program on TV. "Amen, I receive," she would always scream, responding to the prayers and declarations from the ministers on TV. Sometimes she would place her hand on the TV screen in response to the prayers from the prayer program she was watching. Ajoke was a staunch Christian and a strong believer in God. So despite the constant advice and urging she got from some people, especially her cousin, to try fetish means to get a child, she refused, standing firm in her faith in God that He would bless her with a child someday and remaining relentless in her prayers. And one day, Ajoke discovered that she was pregnant. She felt sick and was under the weather for 2 weeks. She had only taken paracetamol tablets, believing that it was due to stress from constantly working herself out. But when she would not get better and began to experience constant nausea, she went to the hospital, believing that she could be suffering from malaria or typhoid and needed to get herself treated. However, when she got to the hospital and the test results for malaria and typhoid came out negative, a doctor requested her to also have a pregnancy test done. It's okay, she had many pregnancy tests done in the past, which all came out negative, so she had not been expecting much. It is the usual routine for doctors to request that a female patient also have a pregnancy test done whenever they are sick, just for proper diagnosis. So said within her when she was taking the test. But when the test result came, it revealed that she was 6 weeks pregnant. "It's okay." She didn't know how to react. "Doctor, are you sure? Please don't joke with me," she said, snatching the test result from the doctor to see for herself. "Yes, Mrs. Ajoke, you are 6 weeks pregnant," the doctor said, smiling at her. Tears of joy streamed down Ajoke's face. "Finally! God has heard!" she cried. She went down on her knees right in the doctor's office, lifting up her hands and singing songs of worship as the tears still flowed freely. Osazi was elated when he received the news after he came back from work that evening. Together, he and his wife danced for joy throughout her pregnancy journey. Osazi left the house for work late every morning, but would return early just to be with his wife and support her in every way. He was the owner and CEO of his car company, so he adjusted his working hours to suit him for this purpose. "Honey, you know you don't have to go to work so late and leave work so early because of me. Anita is here to help me with anything I need around the house," Ajoke told her husband. "No, honey, no. I will even take a leave if need be. As a matter of fact, I am considering doing so on the last month of your last trimester. It is our baby you are carrying in there, not a stranger," Osazi replied, smiling. Ajoke smiled at her husband's sweetness. Once again, she muttered words of thanksgiving to God for blessing her with an amazing husband like Osazi, and thanked God again for finally blessing her with the fruits of the womb. The months spanned fast, and soon Ajoke was in the last month of her last trimester. Osazi remained true to his words, supporting her every day and in every week, making Ajoke glow even more throughout their pregnancy journey. Osazi went to work less during the last months. He wanted to take a full-time leave as he promised that he would, but Ajoke encouraged him not to, so he went only on Mondays, the beginning of every work week, and also only on Fridays at the end of every work week. He had competent men and staff, so he was sure that his business was in safe hands during that period. "Congratulations, Mr. Osazi. Your wife has just delivered a bouncing baby boy," the doctor informed Osazi. Osazi was elated. "Oh, thank you, Jesus! Thank you, Jesus! Thank you for blessing me with these gifts." He knelt down in tears immediately he received the good news, after which he joined his wife and baby in the world. The baby naming ceremony was an elaborate one. This was 1 week after the birth of the baby. Aside from family and friends, Osazi invited dignitaries, most of which were his wealthy business partners, customers, and high-ranking title chiefs. The ceremony was so elaborate that one would think that it was a dignitary getting married and not just a baby naming ceremony. The ceremony came to an end in the evening, and everyone retired back to their various destinations. Though Ajoke was happy and loved every bit of the ceremony, she felt so tired and exhausted. She had to greet and respond to greetings from the many guests and well-wishers who came to celebrate with them. The well-wishers had also brought a lot of gifts with them for the baby. Aside from the huge cash gifts, they also received. Ajoke didn't bother checking the gifts that evening. All she did was have her bath and ensured that her baby got a bath also and breastfeed him before she retired to bed at about 3:30 a.m. that night. Ajoke woke up to use the restroom, but as she passed by her baby's cot, she noticed that her baby was not in it. Ajoke panicked, wondering where her baby had gone to. Did someone enter their house to steal her baby? She thought with even much fear. Immediately, Ajoke began tapping her husband, trying to wake him up and to tell him that their baby was missing. But even as hard as she tapped, Osazi continued to sleep. He did not even wake up but kept snoring loudly. Seeing that her husband would not wake, Ajoke left him and ran out of their bedroom to go look for her baby. As she got to the living room, what she saw made her paralyzed with fear. In the living room was a 1-week-old baby walking on his feet, laughing with a voice that sounded like that of an adult male. Ajoke was so paralyzed with fear at what she had just seen. She screamed, fell to the ground, and passed out. A gentle tap startled Ajoke awake. She opened her eyes and saw that it was her husband. The brightness of the room and the piercing sunrise from the window made Ajoke realize that it was morning. "Honey, what are you doing lying on the bare floor in the living room?" Osazi asked his wife. The baby, I saw him walking on his feet," Ajoke said to her husband, still shaking. Honey, calm down. You were so tired yesterday, so you must have been hallucinating and sleepwalking," Osazi said, holding his wife tightly, trying to calm her down. "I am sure about what I saw. It is not an hallucination. I tried to wake you up when I didn't see our baby in his cot, but you wouldn't wake. Then I came to the living room and saw him walking on his feet," Ajoke said, trying to explain. Osazi let out a gentle laugh. Honey, certainly you were hallucinating. Our baby is sleeping soundly in his cot. Follow me, come and see him," he said, holding his wife's hand and leading her to their bedroom. And there, the baby was sleeping calmly in his cot, just as Osazi had said. "Well, I guess you are right. I may probably have been hallucinating," Ajoke said. The following day, Ajoke was fast asleep when a voice of a woman singing woke her up. Ajoke checked the time. It was just a few minutes past 2 a.m. It's Anita. How can she be singing by this time of the night? More so loudly," she said with irritation. She picked up her phone and dialed Anita's number. "Would you stop that stupid song you are singing? Can't you see that it is late and people are sleeping?" Ajoke said, scolding Anita over the phone. "Ma, I am not singing. No, I was sleeping, and it is your call that woke me up." Anita's voice came from the other end. "Then who is singing? Which other female is in this house except you and I?" Ajoke asked. "But Ma, I can't hear anyone singing," Anita replied again in anger. Ajoke stood up from the bed to warn Anita in her room to stop singing. As she was about to cross over to Anita's room, she noticed that the sound was coming from the living room. "It's okay," Ajoke pondered, wondering if they left the TV on. Then she walked into the living room to check and to turn off the TV. But the sound wasn't coming from the TV. The TV was off. Rather, Ajoke saw a baby standing on his feet again. He was dancing and singing loudly in a mature female voice. "Osazi!" Ajoke screamed and ran back into her room. She started tapping her husband, trying to wake him up. But yet again, despite how much she shook him, Osazi would not wake but continued sleeping and snoring loudly. Ajoke sat up all night on her bed, shaking even though the singing voice later stopped. She wanted to go over to the cot to see if her baby was lying in it, but she was too scared to move. She remained in that position that way until the early hours of morning, when she eventually fell asleep out of exhaustion. She told her husband about it later that morning when they both woke up. And yet again, Osazi dismissed it as a mere hallucination. "I think your hallucinations may be postpartum related. Don't worry, I will call Dr. Adams and book an appointment for you," he said to his wife. All through that day, Ajoke was scared to go close to her baby. It was the maid of Osazi who carried and attended to the baby when he cried. Ajoke was also scared to breastfeed him, so she expressed her breast milk in a bottle for the baby to feed. Night came and there was a sound of moving dishes, running taps, and a blender running. This time it was Osazi who heard it first and woke Ajoke up. "Please go and tell Anita to stop. How can she be washing dishes and be busy in the kitchen by this time of the night? It is 2:30 a.m. Please tell her to leave whatever she has to do till morning," Osazi said to Ajoke. Ajoke froze when she heard the sound. "Honey, I don't think it is Anita. It may be the baby again," she said. "Please don't be ridiculous. Can you accuse a few days old baby of doing such?" Osazi replied. "Oya, come see our baby is sleeping in his cot," Osazi said, pulling his wife towards the baby cot. But when they looked into it, Osazi was shocked to not find the baby in it. "Honey, you see what I have been trying to tell you. The baby is not in his cot," Ajoke said, shaking slowly. We walked out of their bedroom, tiptoeing towards the kitchen. Ajoke followed behind. Osazi opened the kitchen door gently. When he got there, he saw their baby standing on his feet and on a stool, cooking over the stove. Ajoke fainted when she saw that. "Tell me, where did you get that baby from?" he asked his wife the next morning when she regained consciousness. What do you mean? Are you trying to accuse me of doing something diabolical to get the baby?" Ajoke asked. "I have heard cases where desperate women do unimaginable and fetish things in order for them to get children. So tell me the truth. What did you do to have that baby?" Osazi asked again. "Honey, how can you think such of me? You know me too well and how long I trusted and waited on God to bless us with a child. You know my faith in God is unwavering. So how dare you accuse me of such?" Ajoke replied in tears. "After what I experienced last night, I doubt that that baby in day is from God," Osazi said, and stormed out of the house. When he came back late in the night, he was too angry, confused, and had many questions running through his mind. He had not wanted to return home, but he was not one used to sleeping outside his room. Also, he cared for his wife, even though he was angry with her and felt that she hadn't told him the truth about how she got their baby. And he retired to bed that night, but they could not close their eyes. They sat up, afraid and worried that they might experience another strange event with the baby. At about 1 a.m., Ajoke and Osazi startled awake as they felt something strange happening. They had fallen asleep even though they had tried to stay awake. They woke up seeing their bed flying in the air with them on it. Ajoke's eyes widened with fear. Hey, what is this? What is happening?" Ajoke said, all shaking. "Hey, help, help!" They started screaming. The door in the living room mysteriously opened on its own. As they got close to it, the flying bed took them outside. When they got outside, they saw their baby down, standing on his feet once again, and was laughing so hard at them. Osazi and Ajoke intensified their screams for help, but no one heard them, and neither did any of their neighbors. The bed remained in the air and flew all night just within their compound until it was morning. As the day breaks at about 6 a.m., the bed lowered to the ground, and their baby disappeared back to his cot, sleeping soundly like a dew every morning. No way! There's no way I can keep calm about this," he said. Immediately the bed got to the ground. He picked his car keys and rushed to their pastor's house, the pastor of the church they attend. An hour later, he returned with their pastor. "Pastor," Osazi called. The pastor carried the baby and began to pray. After praying for a few minutes, he received a word of knowledge in his spirit. He told them that nothing was wrong with the baby, but that the baby is being possessed and used by a strong spiritual force to torment them. The pastor revealed that the child had been possessed and asked the mother, Ajoke, if she had ever had a conflict with anyone in the past. At first, Ajoke said no, but the pastor urged her to think deeply. After what felt like an eternity, Ajoke remembered a disagreement she had with her best friend Amanda a few months earlier. It was a minor argument, and they had resolved it, so she hadn't thought much of it. However, the pastor insisted that it wasn't just a small quarrel. He explained that while it might seem minor to Ajoke because of her kind heart, Amanda had not taken it lightly. The pastor then asked Ajoke to recount what happened between them. Ajoke explained that Amanda had given birth many years ago, but complications during delivery caused her to lose her womb. This made her cherish her only child deeply. Despite her struggles, Ajoke was always happy for Amanda, even when Ajoke struggled with infertility. Amanda would jokingly reassure her, saying, "Not everyone is meant to have children. The important thing is that your husband loves you." 2 years ago, Amanda tragically lost her only child to an unknown illness, which devastated her. A few months later, when Ajoke got pregnant, she visited Amanda to share the good news. However, Amanda's reaction was cold and her face darkened with anger. Concerned, Ajoke asked if she wasn't happy for her. This led to a heated argument during which Ajoke, out of frustration, repeated Amanda's earlier words. "Not everyone is meant to have children." Ajoke later realized her mistake and apologized. Amanda also apologized, and they both seemed to forgive each other. But the pastor revealed that Amanda had not truly forgiven Ajoke. Instead, she harbored resentment and vowed to make Ajoke childless like herself. The pastor explained that Amanda had visited a native doctor, asking him to ensure Ajoke's baby would not survive. However, the native doctor told her the child's spirit was too strong to be killed. Instead, he suggested possessing the baby with a tormenting spirit. This spirit would cause so much distress that Ajoke would eventually reject the child and fear having more children. The native doctor gave Amanda a charm in a box and instructed her to gift it to Ajoke during the baby's naming ceremony. The spirit in the box would then possess the child and cause chaos in their lives. The pastor asked Ajoke where the gift boxes from the naming ceremony were kept. To his shock, she revealed they had stored them in the baby's room due to a lack of space. The pastor asked her to show him the boxes. When they found the gift box in question, the pastor prayed over it. After intense prayers, the pastor opened the box, and to everyone's surprise, a carved wooden baby doll was inside. He instructed them to burn the doll, declaring that its power had been destroyed. From that day on, the baby stopped acting mysteriously at night and peace returned to their home.
Thank you for watching Besties. Please support your homegirl Koko by subscribing to my channel, liking and sharing with your loved ones. Bye for now till I come your way again with another mind-blowing and interesting stories. Bye bye.